Welcome to a special edition of the Back Porch Podcast. It is June 16th, 2011, and we have a new NHL champion, the Boston Bruins, defeating the Vancouver Canucks 4-0 in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They win the trophy, which will no doubt bring all kinds of ridiculous stories of guys doing bizarre and strange things with it, as always. You know, that's always kind of a weird thing to me. You work really hard all season to get this prize, and as soon as you get it, you want to kiss it and then eat Fruity Pebbles out of it. But hats off to them. They won it. It's theirs to do what they please with. So congratulations to the Boston Bruins, your new NHL champions. Now, Tim Thomas, the goalie for the Bruins, he actually won the MVP trophy, the Conn Smythe trophy there, and did so by stopping 96% of the Canucks shots during the finals. That's absolutely ridiculous to me because I can barely even see the puck when it's just trolleying along out there. This dude's stopping 96% of shots that are fired at him, that are flying at him. That is amazing. He is the MVP, so congratulations to him. Now, I'll admit I'm not a huge hockey guy. Heck, aside from that couple of months right after the Mighty Ducks came out where everybody played a little bit of street hockey, I've never really been into the sport. But one thing that these finals did remind me of was how much I loved to play Sega hockey. I think it was 1995 Sega hockey, one of the best video games ever out there. If you remember, you wanted to make Gretzky's head bleed. That's the only real thing you want. That may be the only thing you remember from that game, but you absolutely loved it. And, this wasn't some brutal Mortal Kombat type game. This wasn't some fighting game. This was an NHL licensed game, but the biggest and the best thing about it was that you could make a guy's head bleed. That's just how it was. Now, look how far we've come, a mere 16 years later. Now, when Madden comes out this year, when the 2012 edition of Madden comes out, it's going to have a concussion policy attached to it. Video game athletes, they're going to be having to take preventative measures to prevent them from having further damage after a concussion. We've came from celebrating head bleedings, taking preventative measures with video game athletes all in about 16 years. Now, you may also remember that video game as being the final straw that broke the camel's back in the relationship between Brody and Shannon Doherty. But hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn for Sega. Now, Game 7 was in fact played in Canada, was played in Vancouver, and we know Canadians love their hockey. But what we didn't know was when they lose hockey games, they absolutely lose their minds as well. Last night there were reports all over the place of riots, looting, things were being set on fire, cats and dogs were living together. It was absolutely ridiculous just seeing some of the pictures from it. Just kind of makes you wonder what the mentality is. I don't understand what the mentality that somebody who goes to a game has, leaving the game when their team loses. I don't really understand how they get so bummed out. They're like, oh man, I hate that we lost. I'm so bummed out, I need to burn some stuff. If I can just burn some stuff, I'll feel a whole lot better. Yeah, I'm not really getting that as a coping mechanism. I'm not really understanding how that's making anything better. Then again, I'm also sober and thinking very logically right now. Two things that definitely weren't going on last night in Vancouver. On the positive side, though, we now have solved the mystery of where West Virginia fans spend their summer vacations. And one last thought for this special edition Back Porch Podcast. Congratulations to the Bruins, but most of all, congratulations to the city of Boston. Boston has now won 7 titles since 2002. They've picked up a title in each of the 4 major sports in our country: hockey, baseball, football, and basketball. And so you kind of have to wonder, what's gotten into these Bostonians? What has motivated them? What has pushed them to this drive towards excellence? I believe I have found the answer, because those 7 titles came after 1996, and in 1996, a dramatic film debuted called Celtic Pride, an epic, legendary film that I believe changed the culture of that area. Of course, you remember, it's a film where Dan Aykroyd and Daniel Stern go out, kidnap Utah Jazz, their star player played by Damon Wayans. They kidnap him in hopes of bringing a title to the Boston Celtics. Since that film debuted in 1996, Boston has won 7 titles, one for each person that actually watched that entire film. And that's been your Stanley Cup Final Special Edition Back Porch Podcast. I hope you have a great weekend with whatever you get into. Be safe and be careful. I'm Travis Williams, and thanks for listening to the Back Porch Podcast.
And I don't have the guts to tell you your optimism hangs by a thread.